Imagine you walk into a store. Maybe it's a furniture store. Maybe it's an electronics shop. You weren't planning on spending a lot today. You were just looking, just browsing. But then you see it. That couch you've been wanting. That laptop that would change your workflow. That big screen TV that would make every movie night feel like a cinema. And right below the price tag, there's a little sign, almost glowing, almost whispering your name. 0% interest for 12 months. And suddenly, something changes in your brain. That price tag doesn't feel as heavy anymore. That number doesn't sting as much because you're not paying it all today. You're splitting it up over months with 0 interest. It feels like the store is doing you a favor, like they're saying, hey, take your time, no rush, no extra cost, just enjoy. And so you say yes. Millions of people say yes every single day. But here's what almost nobody stops to think about. If the store is letting you borrow money for free, then who's actually paying for it? And more importantly, if no one's paying for it, why would any business on earth offer it? The answer to that question is where the real cost hides. And by the end of this video, you're going to see 0% interest very differently than you do right now. Let's start with why this works so well on our brains. When you hear 0% interest, your mind doesn't process it as a financing deal. It processes it as a discount. It feels like you're getting something for less, like you found a loophole, like you're winning. And that feeling is not an accident, it's engineered. There's a concept in psychology called the zero price effect. Researchers have found that when something is labeled as free, it triggers a completely different emotional reaction than something labeled as cheap or even 1 cent. Free isn't just a low price. Free is its own category in the human brain. It bypasses logic. It overrides calculation. It makes us feel like there's no risk. And that's exactly what 0% interest is designed to do. It takes something that is fundamentally a debt agreement, a legal contract where you owe money over time, and it wraps it in the language of free. It frames borrowing as a benefit. It makes debt feel like a gift. And because it feels like a gift, most people never stop to read the fine print. They never ask the one question that would change everything. What happens if I don't pay it off in time? Let's break down how this actually works, because once you see the mechanics, you can never unsee them. There are generally 2 types of 0% interest deals, and they behave very differently behind the scenes. The first type is what's called deferred interest. This is the one that gets people. This is the one hiding the sharpest teeth. Here's how it works. Let's say you buy a couch for $2,400. The deal says 0% interest for 12 months, so you think, great, I'll pay $200 a month for a year, and I'm done. No interest, no extra cost, simple. But here's what's actually happening behind the curtain. The interest isn't gone, it's accumulating silently every single month. The store, or more accurately, the financing company behind the store, is tracking what you would owe in interest if this were a regular credit deal, usually at a rate between 24 and 30%, sometimes even higher. They're just not charging it to you yet, because the deal has a condition that most people skim right past. If you pay off the entire balance before the 12 months are up, the interest disappears. Poof, gone. You paid nothing extra. But if you're even $1 short, if you miss the deadline by even 1 day, if you have $50 left on that balance when month 12 ends, they don't just charge you interest on the $50, they charge you all the interest on the full original amount from day 1, all 12 months of it, retroactively. Let that sink in. On a $2,400 couch at 27% interest, that's roughly $650 in interest charges that hit your account all at once. That couch didn't cost $2,400, it cost over $3,000, and you didn't even see it coming. That's deferred interest. The interest was always there, it was just hiding, waiting, watching the clock. Now the second type is called true 0% interest. This one is more straightforward. You see it often with car manufacturers or credit card balance transfer offers. In this version, the interest genuinely doesn't accrue during the promotional period. If you don't pay it off in time, interest starts going forward from that point, not backward. Sounds better, right? And it is, a little. But even true 0% offers come with costs. They're just not called interest. There might be an origination fee, a processing fee, a balance transfer fee of 3 to 5%. On a $10,000 balance transfer, that's $300 to $500 you pay up front just for the privilege of moving your debt from one place to another. Then there's the late payment clause. Miss one payment, even by accident, and many of these deals have a trigger. The promotional rate vanishes, and your interest rate doesn't just go to a normal rate, it jumps to what's called a penalty APR, sometimes 29.99%. One missed payment, one forgotten due date, and the free loan becomes one of the most expensive debts you carry. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because the hidden cost of 0% interest isn't just financial, it's behavioral, and the companies offering these deals know it. Think about what happens psychologically when someone signs up for a 0% interest deal. First, they spend more. Studies have consistently shown that when people finance a purchase instead of paying cash, they spend 12 to 18% more than they originally intended. The 0% offer doesn't just help you afford what you wanted, it convinces you that you can afford something bigger, better, more expensive. You came in for the $800 laptop, but with 0% financing, suddenly the $1,200 one doesn't feel that far away. It's only an extra $33 a month, right? The monthly payment illusion is one of the most powerful tricks in consumer finance. It takes a large number and slices it into small pieces that feel painless, and your brain, which is terrible at long-term math but excellent at short-term comfort, says yes every time. Second, people underestimate their future selves. This is called present bias. When you sign up for a 12-month payment plan, you're making a bet. You're betting that future you, 12 months from now, will be more disciplined, more organized, and more financially stable than present you. But research shows that people almost always overestimate how responsible they'll be in the future. We assume future us will track every payment, future us will set reminders, future us will pay it off early, but present us can barely remember to cancel a free trial before it charges. The financing companies know this. They have the data. They know exactly what percentage of people will fail to pay off the balance in time. And that percentage is not small. Some estimates suggest that a significant portion of deferred interest plans end up triggering that retroactive interest charge. That's not a flaw in the system. That's the system working exactly as it was designed. Third, and this is the sneakiest part, 0% interest changes your relationship with the purchase. When you buy something with cash, there's a moment of pain, a sting. You feel the money leaving, and that pain actually serves a purpose. It makes you evaluate whether the purchase is truly worth it. But when you finance something at 0% interest, that pain almost completely disappears. You get the product now, the pleasure is immediate, the cost is delayed, spread out, abstract. It doesn't feel like spending because you're not handing anything over today. And so you say yes. Never seriously ask yourself, do I actually need this? Because the financial pain that would have triggered that question got removed from the experience. That's not a coincidence, that's a strategy. So what should you actually do with this information? Does it mean 0% interest is always bad? Does it mean you should never use it? No, not necessarily, but it means you should use it with your eyes open, not closed. Here's the first rule. If you can't afford to buy it with cash right now, 0% financing doesn't make it affordable. It makes it accessible. Those are two very different things. Affordable means it fits your financial life without stress. Accessible just means someone is willing to let you take it home today and worry about it later. Here's the second rule. If you do use a 0% offer, treat the deadline like a wall of fire. Don't aim to pay it off by the last month. Pay it off 2 months early. Set up automatic payments that divide the balance across the first 10 months instead of 12. Give yourself a cushion, because the entire profit model of deferred interest depends on you being a little lazy, a little forgetful, or a little optimistic about your future behavior. Here's the third rule. Always ask one question before signing anything. Is this deferred interest or true 0%? That single question changes everything. If the salesperson can't answer it clearly, walk away. If the fine print uses the phrase, interest will be assessed from the purchase date, that's deferred interest, and you need to treat that deal with extreme caution. And here's the final rule, the most important one. Never let a payment plan trick you into upgrading. If you walked into the store ready to spend $600, leave spending $600. The 0% offer should not increase your budget. If it does, the financing isn't serving you, you're serving it. Here's the thing about free in the world of money. Nothing is free, ever. There is always a cost. Sometimes it's measured in dollars, sometimes it's measured in fees, sometimes it's measured in behavior, in the slow, invisible way that easy financing trains you to be comfortable with debt, to see monthly payments as normal, to stop asking whether you truly need something because the payment is only $20 a month. And that might be the biggest hidden cost of all. Not the interest, not the fees, but the mental